Hey, good morning. This is what's wild in New Hampshire. This is the last day of September 2024. Got Pat Tate, New Hampshire Fish and Game Wildlife Biologist, Pat Tate. He does a couple different things. This morning, we got some canaries in the back of the truck. Secret location, we're letting them go. Pat, let's talk first before we do that. Fisher, foxes, what's happening? You got a fisher study underway. What prompted that and what's going on there?
So we have a fisher study with the University of New Hampshire started this fall as far as capturing and collaring fisher. The various indexes that we have for fisher depicts a declining population, or it has declined in New Hampshire. It's stable now, but it declined from the historic high. And we don't know what's causing the decline, so we are radio collaring 100 fisher.
100? That's a big number. Wow.
It is a big number. It's ambitious, and
it'd be the first time in New Hampshire we had 100 callers out ever.
Well, there won't be 100
right
callers
at a time.
Right.
Yeah.
So we'll find out what's causing the decline, or caused the decline, and affecting the population growth rate, whether that's negative or positive.
So when you put the collar on there, what do you find from that? I mean, certainly home range, but you're probably looking at mortality factors. I'd be willing to bet, right?
Right. So it's a cause-specific mortality, and we can find home range from the data points, but because of the amount of data we want to record through time, and we're limited by battery capacity, we got to limit the number of fixes per day, which is data points. And the collar is to tell us if the animal has stopped moving for X number of hours, and that indicates a mortality. So it's called a mortality tone.
Okay.
And then we'll go out and find that fisher and have a full diagnostic necropsy done.
Done by UNH, I presume.
Correct. Yep, the UNH Diagnostic Lab.
Great people there, yep. Yeah. So numbers-wise, how many were trapped last December? What do you have for a number there? Do you remember?
By memory, so you know how that goes. It's not always perfect.
Hey, I'm 17 years retired, but Pat took my job over at Region 3, the wildlife, the furbearer biologist and the regional biologist. His memory's got to be better than mine.
So I believe, by memory, there was 9 taken by people who pursue fisher. The effort's way down as well, though. So the capture per unit effort is somewhere around 1 animal per 100 trap nights.
Okay, and the trappers recognize that they're not setting traps. I mean, I've been talking to trappers; they're not trapping them.
Right, and the value of the fur isn't there as it historically was. So the number of animals per square mile in the landscape is less, so they're not putting the effort. And New Hampshire Fish and Game, we've changed the bag limit over time. So right now the bag limit's 2. And for individuals to go out and target 2 fisher, if you look at it from an economic standpoint, they're likely not to do that. And so a personal preference and then changes in management structure has caused declining effort.
Wow. You know, back 1979, I think 1,000 fish were taken, and the female's pelt was worth $200. Yeah. Look where things have... fur has always been very cyclical anyways.
Yeah.
How about anything with foxes? Any news on the foxes? Because you've been collecting some carcasses and looking at pesticides in those animals, and you're finding.
We did. 2018 is when we did a bunch of work looking at what contaminants are in foxes.
Okay.
And specifically pesticide, and then we were looking for canine distemper.
Okay.
And that was a grant that we got from the Wildlife Federation to do that work.
Okay.
We haven't done any more collections since then.
Okay.
The capture per unit effort for fox species has declined as well.
Okay.
But again, the effort for the species has declined over time. So it changes how the predicted
number of trappers relatively stable around 400 or 500.
Yes. However, the active rate per license has declined over time. So we have the numbers you stated. And for fox species, there's about 5 to 7% active licenses pursuing those.
Okay.
So it's very low in comparison. Eastern coyote and beaver are up in the 20-something% targeting those species. So giving an indication of how people buy their trapping license to support conservation and whatnot, but
they don't necessarily trap.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, good information. We're going to get around to releasing some pheasants here in a minute, but I wanted to, as a former furbearer biologist, find out what's happening there from the man in the know now. Pat, thank you very much. I'm going to wrap this one up, and we'll We'll get some pheasant stalking in a second. Thank you very much, Pat. This is wildlife biologist Eric Orr for What's Wild in New Hampshire.